Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to do my wrap-up for the Fall into Manga Love Readathon, which was hosted by Shay Geeks Out over the weekend, October 13th and 14th. I got a lot of manga read, I had so much fun, and I'm just going to hop right into what I read over the course of the 2 days. I started off with Volume 5 of Ao Haru Ride, and this was on the list that Shay had given of series that she loves, and so this was my one that counted towards the only kind of prompt of the readathon, which was to read a series that Shay also enjoys. So I started off with Volume 5. I like to start off readathons with series that I really, really love because it gets me excited to read. And so I thankfully, right on Friday, came in Volume 7, so it was wonderful because I had 3 volumes of Ao Haru Ride to read to kick off the readathon. I love Ao Haru Ride. It's a really good shoujo in my opinion, really beautiful art, and I love the characters in the story, and so I was happy to have 3 volumes of it to start off the readathon. Then another one that came in recently that I really, really love is Love at 14. This is volume 9. This one was fantastic. 2 of the crushes, romances, whatever you want to call them, had really wonderful chapters in this volume. This is a story about the main couple are these 2, but they're boring. I don't really care about them. It's basically a bunch of different 14-year-olds all just experiencing love pretty much for the first time, and they have different unrequited crushes, and some of them are in relationships, and it is so cute. It makes my day every time I read it. Unfortunately, the volumes release very slowly, about once per year, and I wait very impatiently for the volume to come out, and then I read it immediately. But I do have a review of the series on my channel, even though it's not done yet, because I really wanted to make a video about it so people knew more about it, because I don't see people talking about it much. But next I read Volume 3 of Candy Color Paradox. This was also a wonderful volume. It was so good. I was super invested. This is a really, really cute one. I have a first impressions of this series up on my channel. If you like yaoi that is not problematic, pick up stuff by Isaku Natsume, and Candy Color Paradox is going really well. Super enjoying it still. Next, I read Volume 12 of Bungo Stray Dogs. This is the newest volume. This, I think we're getting to a climax here. I don't know when this series ends, but it's going, like, we're getting into super fighting mode here. This is an action comedy, kind of dark, twisted comedy series about these. It's a detective agency, but it's also involving the mafia and some other organizations, crime organizations. And there's a lot of fighting and a lot of, but you get to see all the sides and the characters on all the sides, and they're a lot of fun. And there's quite a good bit of humor and some dark humor, and it's just, I really love it personally. And that's the newest volume. Another recent release, Volume 13 of Ajin Demi-Human. Another one that feels like it's coming to a close soon. I don't know how many volumes this is going to be, but this one seems to be coming to a head as well. This one, if you don't know, is a really, really great action series about these people who they just keep getting, they don't die. If you kill them, they just come back to life. And so it's about our main character kind of fighting with this other guy who is also an Ajin, who is kind of a terrorist, and he is causing a lot of trouble in Japan because he believes, or he says he believes in kind of freedom for all Ajin, because they're not treated very well. They're treated like monsters and experiments and whatever. But his motives seem a little bit skewed because he seems to just like terrorizing everyone. But it's a really good action series if you have not tried it out yet. Next, I was still in the mood for some darker kind of story, so I started off with volume 5 of Banana Fish. This is a story set in the 80s in New York, about this young man, Ash Lynx. He's 17 years old. He is a um, kind of sort of a child prostitute, but is also a prominent gang leader. And it's the story about this mysterious thing, banana fish, and the mystery around it. Um, and it's a lot of crime and different kind of gang related fighting and whatnot. Very very good, super gripping series. It is a shojo. It's got a bit of a boys love vibe to it, but it's not the focus by any means. Um, yeah, it's really really wonderful, and doesn't really feel much. It's got a lot of pretty boys, which would feel like a shojo, but the story is so amazing, and the focus is definitely not romance. So if you're looking to get into shojo, and you're not really into romance, this is a good one to try out. So I read volumes 5 through 9 at that point in the readathon, and then I was just in the mood for boys love in general. So I finished up Escape Journey. This is volume 2. This is a good one. I had issues with volume 1, but volume 2 was really good. This is college students, so you don't have to worry about any underage relationships. They are in college, and the art is really nice. I really enjoy it, and there wasn't anything that I found to be problematic in volumes 2 and 3. This is the final volume here, volume 3. So I really enjoyed it. And these final two, or this volume in particular, really did focus on actually like coming out and, trying to come to terms with making a relationship public that's been going on for a while, but you didn't want your friends and family to know about it. And yeah, it was really sweet and cute, and I enjoyed these last two volumes for sure. Next, I read volume 14 of The Wallflower. Seems fitting for Halloween. This is about this girl who, not, this is one of the boys, but this girl who is into horror things and is kind of scary looking, and these pretty boys live in the same house as her, and her aunt who owns the house says they can live rent free if they turn her into a lady and make her act more like a lady. But she's not interested, and it's just kind of a comedy, and it's ridiculous. Next, I read Shugochara-chan, Volume 1. This is all I have of it. This is a four-panel comic comedy series, spin-off of Shugochara, which I love, about the Guardian characters in particular. The beginning part of it I really enjoyed. The four-panel part, this was absolutely hilarious. If you like the characters from Shugochara, you will find this funny because it's ridiculous. And I really enjoyed it. And then about halfway through, it became Shugochara-chan Kids, and I did not enjoy it at all. The art I don't like. It's not their regular art. I think it's someone else doing the art for this part, and I didn't enjoy it. And then it just continues on that with this other art style, and then it goes into an anthology of random other mangaka doing little stories, mixed up with their own manga, and it was kind of interesting, but I didn't like it very much. I liked the first half a lot better. Next up, I read Planetess. These are 2-in-1 omnibuses. This is a wonderful series. There will absolutely be a review. These are heavy. There will absolutely be a review of, maybe I'll put it down here, of Planetess coming out at some point here, because I read both omnibuses during this readathon. Absolutely magnificent. I enjoyed these from cover to cover. Really beautiful story, just about a society that's a bit different than ours, and how they kind of function, and it obviously has a lot to do with space travel and kind of protecting our atmosphere and whatnot. Yeah, it's about garbage men basically who clean up the atmosphere. from all the space debris that humans have caused. And it's a really interesting story because they kind of go in between Earth and space, which I wasn't expecting. And yeah, it was really beautiful. I really really enjoyed it, and I'll definitely be making a full video on it. Another one that you will see a review of at some point soon is Levius. This was amazing. It's kind of a steampunk story about MMA, which is I think mechanical martial arts. Really cool, really fun. I actually, when I bought it, because I thought it looked cool, I bought it and I regretted it when I bought it because I went, oh, I don't think I'm going to like this at all. And I was actually considering, I don't ever return things, but I was considering going and returning it because I went, I don't really need this. And I read it and I absolutely loved it. And there's a spin off or a continuation series that Viz is going to be releasing as well. And I will more than likely be picking that up as well. But you should expect a review of Levius as well. This is a 3-in-1 total story in that one. Next, I read Omnibus Visbig #1. This is again a 3-in-1 of Inuyasha. I was kind of getting a little tired by that point of reading, and I figured that one of the classics that I knew I love would be a good idea to read at that point. I think that was the last thing I read before bed on the first night. And then, yeah, I think that was the last. Yeah, that was the last thing I read before bed on the first night of the readathon. And then I woke up the next day and started off with Fallen Words by Yoshihiro Tatsumi. This was wonderful. These were actually Rakugo stories, and so each of them had a funny punchline right at the end, and it was so wonderful. I've loved everything that I've read by Yoshihiro Tatsumi so far. This one might have been my favorite because the stories were more humorous by the end of them. It was so good. If you like alternative manga, I highly, highly recommend picking up Yoshihiro Tatsumi's short story collections because it was so great. I had a blast reading this one. And then next, I was still in the mood for some alternative manga and short stories, so I finally read Trash Market by Tadao Tsuge. And I had already read Slum Wolf a while ago and really enjoyed it, so I knew I would enjoy this. Again, short story collection of alternative manga, and really, really loved it. This one is a bit darker than Fallen Words was, but I still really, really enjoyed it. And then next, I wanted to change a pace, and I went for Welcome to the NHK. And I will absolutely be doing a review. So that was volume 4. And I just finished off the whole series. This is about a NEET, or a hikikomori, and this high school girl who's trying to cure him of his shut-in behavior. And this is definitely not for people who are squeamish or concerned about sexual themes, or kind of problematic, questionable behaviors. Yeah, for sure. But I read all of Welcome to the NHK. That was volume 8, the final volume. I will be doing a review of this series as well, so look out for that in the near-ish future. And I continued with Banana Fish. This is volume 10. I really, really was enjoying it, and now I only have a handful of volumes left at this point to read, which is really exciting. So this was volume 11 of Banana Fish, which I also enjoyed. And then I finished off the readathon with one more volume, volume 15 of The Wallflower. And by the end of this, it was then like 10 p.m., I think, on the second day of the readathon. And I was just tired. I went, you know what? I think this is 30 volumes in total, and a lot of them are omnibuses, or just slightly longer than regular volumes. And so I decided I was happy with 30 and called it for the day, or for the 2 days. And yeah, so anyway, I had a really, really great time. So thank you to Shay from Shay Geeks Out, whose channel will be in the description, for hosting this readathon. Had a blast. Read a lot off of my TBR and really enjoyed everything that I read. So yeah, if you participated and made a video, or just want to let me know in the comments what your favorite thing you read was, or all of the things you read. If you want to list them, for sure, please do. I'd love to chat about the readathon and how you did. Yeah, thanks for watching, and for sure, make sure to look out for some of the reviews of these different series that I completed during this readathon. There will definitely be videos about most of them coming out in the near future. Thank you for watching. See ya.